I'm so funny. I actually put Jane's intro on first. It has to be Friday, doesn't it? Happy Friday, everybody. We are looking at Lenormand clusters today. If you are joining me, please write your name in the comments, say hello, tell me where you're from, tell me what you know about Lenormand or what you don't know about Lenormand. And we will get going. While I let a few people come on, I would love to share with you just really briefly that we have the Lenormand Summit coming up on the 24th of June. And we have some amazing speakers attending. It's all available on the World Divination Association website, worlddivinationassociation.com. And as you see, we have the incredible Rana George, the incredible Kathleen Matthews, and a whole array of amazing people within the Lenormand community. So it's a chance to learn more things, different perspectives, and also, you know, a view from the readers who work with the Lenormand deck every day. So Lenormand clusters. I'm doing something I don't usually do today. Is that the real Marilyn? Marilyn, have you joined me? I've missed you so much. I really have. Marilyn is an amazing friend. I'm actually getting a bit tearful at seeing your name coming up there. Lovely, lovely to see you. Anyway, I'm doing something I don't usually do. I do have a few slides, but it's from a part of a course that I have taught recently. And we'll just look at little points of it before I put the overhead on and we pull a GT together. I nearly added the wrong thing there. So what we're looking at in the Lenormand deck is cards that hang out together. Every single system that you read will have cards or runes, for example, that hang together to send you down a theme on your read. Lenormand is amazing at that. Now, master cards are cards that come up and they have that, this is a work theme or this is a love theme, for example, like Tree. This is an ill health read. This is a reading on health. But what we actually need is more cards. As we know in the Lenormand deck, one single card is never going to tell us the theme of a read because they all add into what that scenario is. But what we do have are actual clusters that we can use. And what I'm going to share with you today are the standard clusters that we find in the Lenormand deck. Bjorn Meurs actually wrote about them in his book, Le Petit Lenormand Encyclopedia. And we're also going to look at my clusters. And my clusters contain a lot more than the standard love cards. And the reason for that is because there are cards that amplify a theme that you are looking for. And as you know, we're always looking for substantiation in a spread. So for me, heart, ring, and anchor alone will not 100% confirm what we are looking at, because we also know anchor card can be used as our trade card. It is a card for luck in trade, so in business and in love. So I like to add more to the mix. So what I would like you to do with your Lenormand deck is take your deck out and think, what cards would I personally want to see to confirm a happy and loving relationship? Obviously, I need more than 3 cards. So I have cards like Tower. If you are in a relationship, you want it to be a long-term relationship. And that's where Tower adds that long-term stability to a love read. The Lily adds that perfect domestic bliss into the mix. Bouquet will add happiness. Star will add direction or a fated element to the love situation. Sun will add that growth to the relationship. Moon means it's recognized by both people as that super important end goal relationship. And key, super, super important. So what I'm thinking about before I'm actually laying my cards is, what would the cards look like if I was going to see a perfect love story? And I do that with your deck. Go through your cards and say, like it's an order. You know, I would order this for my relationship, and add all the cards into a pile that you see that you would like to be added into your love or relationship. And you'll find that when you come to read for others, you have that perfect scenario in your head, and you can take that as your pure love amazingness. And then every card that's missing takes it a little bit down the scale to something a lot less pure and loving. And in that way, when you lay a GT and you have some of the components, you'll be able to weigh up in your head, you know, how far along that scale you are. So my next slide shows what I would want to see in a perfect love scenario on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, we still have a love scenario because we have enough cards in there to actually show us there is a love that we're looking at, and a few dodgy ones thrown into the mix. Now, it doesn't mean it doesn't show love. It shows love, but with issues. So it's still giving you that theme because you've already worked out what that perfect cluster is for you. And you can work against that then in your reads. It's an automatic thing that comes to you. Similarly, with the ill health essentials, the tree is a natural ill health card. The closer it is to your significator, the worse the health is supposed to be. But we also know in the original instructions that with tower and clouds together, that also means serious illness. So adding tree, tower, and clouds into the mix, you know there's some instability on the health theme. And then you have your extras. You have coffin for serious illness. You have whip for fevers. So think about anything that's COVID related or infections, for example. You have the scythe, which adds a danger element. Could it be accident? Could it be surgery, for example? All these things adding into those essentials that we said. The book speaks of horrible news coming to light. Think about a diagnosis, for example. Mountain speaks of enemies. So if you think about anything that is an enemy to your body, could be a poison, could be a growth, could be anything that is actually physically working against your body, could be an obstruction, for example. And then fox, obviously, because it is our card of wrongness. So if there was something wrong with the body, then you would expect to see fox there. The tree is in both. It reads, it means unhealthy relationship if near. I'm sorry, I don't really understand that comment. Okay. So if I was looking for a perfect ill health scenario, then I'd expect to see all those cards that I had in my mix, especially tower, clouds, tree, and then the others to confirm it. I've put tower in that one twice, double tower. But then we have the imperfect health scenario, which doesn't grab you with all those nasties of the other, yet still shows a certain health issue, probably stress related with birds in front of them. I'm only showing you this quick so we can go over and you know what kind of clusters we are talking about. When it comes to business, we have the cards of the sea, we have the ship, the fish, and the anchor. Fish, tree, Ship is our commerce card, fish is our financials card, and the anchor speaks of trade. So they're the ones that actually come close. Both love and health. Okay, I should clarify something here because every card fits into every theme. So if you are having a love situation that is drained, then you will have the tree in there. That's just referring to a comment there. So every card will fit into these themes if you are doing themed reads. However, clusters can be used on general spreads so that you can find that way forward that you are looking for. So the key business essentials are obviously the cards of the sea, because they hold those core essences of business, commerce, and finance. House is one that, you know, quite a few readers don't even realize that in the original instructions, the house means success in all undertakings. So if it is a business endeavor and house shows, then it shows that successful endeavor. Moon, obviously, pat on the back, doing well, perhaps promotion, key, an important role, you know, really mixes in with those financials to show which bit of it is important at that moment in time. Sun, again, you saw it in the love one and in the work one. It also means that growth. Star gives you direction, and ring speaks of commitments. So if I am looking for the perfect business scenario, I would be looking more at the left-hand side than the right-hand side. However, on the right-hand side, we've got enough cards to show that core business theme, and then we add the other cards that are in there to explain it further. And this is one that most people kind of want to know with the Lenormand deck. How you spot cheating, how you spot when somebody is unfaithful, how you spot when there is a third party involved. There are three major cards in that: Fox, Snake, which are not enough to confirm cheating. But we also have Lily, and Lily is our super weapon in the Lenormand deck, because if you want to know if somebody is honorable, then you need to see Lily sitting above in the spread. If Lily is sitting below, then it speaks of being selfish, perhaps deceitful, and also disloyal. So your Lily card is your secret weapon. If you're looking to see somebody's character and whether they are virtuous or not, then the Lily card must fall beneath them to confirm cheating in any way. And then the third party extras are equally as important as those essentials. In fact, 3 out of the third party extras I would need in the mix in order to confirm. So that's 6 cards and placement that I would need to confirm that, substantiate it. And that would be Bear, which speaks of great fortune, yet it speaks of the envy of others. And then we have Mountain, which is the enemy card. So that's 2 third parties referred to. The Fox is another third party referred to. The Snake is a third party referred to. And each time it's ringing that bell, you know. So if you get all these cards in a mix with that placement of Lily beneath, and then all these cards hovering around, then it's not a good sign for your querents. The other cards, dog I would put in there as well, because dog will refer to another person if required. So if there was all those and dog was in the mix as well, it would be a double whammy confirmation that something is smelling off to me. Cross, I would expect to see near because there is no third party situation when it comes to cheating. I'm not talking about threesomes, but when it comes to cheating, there will be pain in the mix for somebody. So I would expect to see that pain near my querent if their partner is cheating, for example. Whip, I would expect to see in there because it's going to be super uncomfortable within that relationship. Somebody asks, can Garden be a cheating card? I wouldn't confirm Garden as a cheating card because it speaks of good company. It speaks of decent people, which we'll go into in a second. So the perfect third party scenario, you see, I've put the woman straight in the middle and she has Lily directly beneath her. That is dodgy. That's somebody who is selfish. Now, they could just be selfish to look after themselves if they have a lot of positive cards around, for example. There are all times, we all have times at which we personally need to take care of self. And the lily will fall beneath in those scenarios. However, if it's coupled with the fox out front of her, showing what she is projecting to the world, fox and deceit, snake in behavior, snaky behavior, not a good thing. And then you have her thoughts on a third party, the bear. So there's, that would be what I would be looking for. But I would also be looking at the partner card or the querent card to see if they can substantiate it too with that pain around them, or if they know nothing about it at all. Somebody says, not crossroads. Crossroads, it speaks of difficult decisions. Now, third parties don't always come with difficult decisions because a third party could go on forever. They could be choosing to live their life. So the crossroads would be an added card to show that that person is actually thinking about splitting up, for example. But it wouldn't be an essential card to prove somebody is cheating. So obviously my imperfect third party scenario still has that lily beneath and fox in front of her. We have to see some kind of behavior coming forth from her that is negative, and we need to see that lily beneath to show that unvirtuous side. And then I was just asked about garden. These are our good people. These are good people around us. Child speaks of having great acquaintances around us. Dog speaks of loyal. The garden card also speaks of good company, being in great company with other people. So, it speaks very much about hanging out together and just being with the right kind of peeps. And then there's a whole other bunch of clusters that I personally have. If you work through your Lenormand deck, and say to yourself, what cards would I want to see in this situation to confirm it to me? What cards would I need to see if I were going to get a promotion? What cards would I need to see if I were going to split up with my partner, for example? All those things that a client can come to you for. If you sit and think in a perfect life scenario, what would you want to see? Then anything less down from that, or anything, slightly out of that, you can gauge exactly what level of importance you are looking at, what level of love you're looking at, what level of promotion, finances, business, etc. you are looking at. Your Lenormand deck has that all in there for you. I'm going to put the overhead on now, and we will look at this in a GT. I'm using the deck from the Lenormand Summit, and I will pull a quick random GT. I will set an intention in my head, and I'm going to set it. In fact, I won't tell you. I'll just do it and then we can see whether you can see what kind of read we are looking at. We have Stork in the house of Rider, Whip in the house of Clover, Crossroads in the house of Ship, Tower in the house of House, Tree in the house of Tree, Sun in the house of Clouds, Clover in the house of Snake, and Woman in the house of Coffin, looking into her year ahead. Letter in Bouquet, Fox in Scythe, Ring in Whip, Garden in Birds. Whoops. Sorry, I don't like how they don't actually line up. We've got, Coffin in Child, Child in Fox, Bear in its own house, Heart in Star, Birds in the Stork house, 18 is Dog and Clouds, 19 we have Key in Tower, Crossing Garden, and here is the Man card in the House of Mountain. Crossroads house, we have Bouquet. Mice house, we've got Moon. Heart house, we have Fish. Whoops. In 25 and Ring, we've got House. 26 in Book, we've got Ship. 27 Letter, we've got Lily. 28 Man is Rider. 29 House Anchor is in Woman. And then we've got Lily, we've got Snake. Sun and Moon, we've got Dog and Mountain. And then our 4 at the bottom, Book, Scythe, Mice, and Stars. Let me just move that around. I didn't look as I was laying it. There we go. So we have our 2 people. They are looking on one another, which means their relationship is in a decent place. Woman's at the top, very much in control. He is very much performing the subordinate role in the relationship, or the supportive role in the time scale. The interesting thing is that we have, although around him we've got Anchor, and this is when you start looking for your clusters. Anchor and Ship are far from one another. The other business card obviously is our Fish, and I can't even remember Fish coming out, so I'm looking for it here. That's also triangulated almost away from him, almost, although it's in his direct line of sight, with Moon next to it. So there's a certain aspect of work and financials involved, because Moon and Fish bothered to hang together, and Anchor hangs close to him. So they're the aspects that you are looking at when it comes to clusters. How close together are these clusters? Is there love shown in the relationship here? Well, we've got Ring in a negative aspect, which means it's possibly not going that well, even though they are looking eye to eye. Heart is in a good position here. It's a nice position. She's feeling love. So although there's love there, the commitment side of it, and that's what I mean about weighing down those levels. Okay, so we have Heart showing, yay, love. But then we have Ring in a negative aspect. So whilst there's love, the actual commitment to the relationship isn't what you would expect from a close couple. I am just looking where Lily lands beneath and behind him. So there is a certain amount of aspect to him that is looking after self rather than looking after the relationship. And at all stages, you are weighing that off against one another. He has coffin above him and then snake before him. Does he secretly want to end the relationship? He has coffin above him and snake. Where is snake? There. Okay. If he were thinking of ending the relationship, I would not expect this positive, amazing set between him and his partner. If he were thinking about ending the relationship, I would see in this line of his direct line of sight, less amazing cards. I mean, we've got bouquet, which means happiness. You know, yes, there's a little bit about it that he isn't too perhaps open about with snake being down there, but it's not showing any form of betrayal by him to her. And it's also, I would want, if there were a breakup, I would want scythe in the mix here. I would want cross in the mix to show that there is pain related. I would expect the whip to be over this end if he were thinking of ending it. So that's a lot of substantiation that you have to give. So just one card in a thoughts process and, you know, snake down here beneath him is not enough to say that he is thinking of ending it. He is thinking of ending something, and that something is told you in the cards around that. I would be interested. I actually set this on a, well, can you call them celebrity couples? I actually set this on a real life couple to see if anybody could actually figure out who it is. So what I'll do is I will go through how I would start to work through this spread, using those key cluster cards to either substantiate or, like I did with the thinking of ending it, to end that kind of train of thought. Sonoma, you got it. How did you get it? I was actually going to explain some of it. That's amazing. Yes, I set it on Meghan and Harry just to see. And you know what? She sat in coffin, which does kind of, you know, it gives you a little substantiation on this. And if he were thinking of that, it's a very brief moment because it goes into positive afterwards. It doesn't mean that he won't think about it again. It means at the point of laying this spread, that's the point of laying this spread. So if we laid it in a month's time, for example, and they were in it's a snapshot. It's not a year ahead or anything like that. It's a snapshot of their relationship. So a flash in the pan, perhaps, thought in that direction. However, coffin has garden next to it, a good company card. It also has child next to it, which is a double whammy good company card. And dog isn't too far away either from him. So we have the qualities of good company. We have long-term friends in the mix. Long-term friends who are actually letting him down with tree next to it, tree and tree. It is dwindling quickly. He's thinking of ending it, yet he has the child in front of him. I mean, this can relate with garden and tower, could relate to his commitments with the royalty, for example, that has ended. And it's very much, he knows it's ended. It has caused him a great deal of pain with Cross. And he does have some form of communication still with members of that, of the royal family, with Lily coming down, Ryder in the mix. So he still has some form of communication with the monarchy, which causes him a great deal of pain with Cross right next to him. However, he says, you know what? I've got this with Anchor beneath him. I've got this. I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm heading, and I'm so in control of that. However, that beneath him moves into Snake, and it's almost like he has these moments of, I can do this. But then those doubts, because that's sat in Lily as well, that doubts, it's almost like he feels like a victim with Snake in Lily. He feels like the victim. He feels like he's been wronged unto, and it's all about him with Lily being beneath him. So you see how I'm adding these in from those clusters. And this is a great example, actually, because none of the clusters wholly come together. So what we're doing is looking at those levels of each. What does Lily mean down here? How does it relate to the cards below? How does it relate to Snake sitting in Lily too? Whereas Megan's up in the top, and if it's going to end, she's going to choose to do it because she sat in House of Coffin. However, again, they're in a positive aspect to one another. So it could be showing she has caused that end sitting in the House of Coffin. She has really strong feelings for Harry with Heart Beneath. It's sat in the House of Star. So she really feels that, you know, he is her one satin star. The strange thing is, though, for him, he's looking into happiness. So he is projecting that he's happy because it's sat in front of him. But his cards move into cards that do not suggest love. They don't suggest warmth. They suggest business, and especially with Anchor beneath him. He's more focused on money. He's more focused on his own reputation. And he may be a little bit, in fact, from both sides. There's jealousy from both sides on one another. You know, who's known the most? Who's got the most, I don't know, who's got the most followers, let's say. So I find that really interesting, because if I were doing a relationship read and I saw this, it does kind of look falsely happy days. So it's almost like it's a projection of happy days, because she does have these feelings. However, there's nothing to suggest around him his feelings on her at all. In fact, it's more about his feelings towards what is left behind in this. And so far, all I've looked at these cards and the cards there, you know, I have gone back to these, but what I do is I keep adding in a little bit of the story as we go along. So you'll see me, I just bop around as I am given my narrative to cover all the bases, so to speak. So Megan has Clover in front of her. It's actually sat in the House of Snake, and he has Snake down here in Lily's. She contributes to those feelings of victimness. She contributes her little pieces of which, you know, a partner would do. So I would expect a partner to do that. But it does say something about the relationship. She actually adds fuel to the fire, because Sun is sat in the House of Clouds. And this is where her storyline meets his storyline, because we spoke about here and the good circle around him that's ended. And she meets that when I said she's adding fuel to the fire with Sun in Clouds. It then goes into tree in tree. So she's a part of that degradation of the relationships he's had, close relationships that he's had. I would suggest he doesn't like it very much. It's sat in the house of child, which suggests that ending of good company. He does have a few friends that are still there, or maybe a few in the monarchy that are still there available to him, but he can't trust them because they're sat in Fox. So he doesn't really have a trust for the people that's around them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay another one to see if we can get the cards to jump out in a general cluster rather than working with levels. Come on. Wow. New love for singles. I like that. I will get the cards out. 3, 4, 5. I count when I'm doing it because I say the houses in my head. I did list them all for you last time, but it's quicker if I just do it in my head. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's like processing your houses as you put your card down. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36. Okay. Things I would notice straight away: man sat in dog, woman sat in clover facing out. They're sharing bear between them. I did notice as I was laying that my business cluster, so the anchor, falls in house of tree, which shows, draining of trade. And then when I came to lay him, we've got fish right in front of him and we have ship. So there's decisions here to be made on financials and commerce. And then doubling up with that anchor sat in the house of tree, really draining at it, it tells me that, going forth for him, we have financials that are struggling with tree and cross beneath them. He really needs to make a decision because those financials are troubling. Decision's not easy to do. We've got mice and fox above it. But ultimately decides to focus on the commerce, not worry too much about great deals of money coming in because they won't with snake in there. And trade will be dodgy with clouds beneath it. So they're all things that I noticed as I was laying. The spread this time, I didn't set any intention because I just wanted to see if the cards would be nice and land together, but they don't. It's very, very rare that you get an easy scenario where just all of them, that perfect life just clusters around them at all times. So you think mentally, okay, we've got bear above there. Do any of the other third parties come into the mix? No. We've got fox there, but there's nothing enough there to show anything. Is there anything to show love between the two of them? Nope. Is there anything to show good people around them? Nope. They're all spread out. But like I said, I follow those scenarios of the business ones because of their placement within the spread. That would be the thing out of all of this that really pings, especially with Moon sat in the house of Anchor, which means they are trying to get well known. They are trying to raise their career profile with Moon sat there. And with financials being his focus, because it's the card directly in front of his nose, and then moving into ship, then we're absolutely looking at a work theme read for this person. And the trials and tribulations in there. I mean, this time we've got Coffin beneath him, and Coffin sat in book beneath him. And the feelings of death and drainingness with tree in the mix. We don't have tower near here, so we can't say that it's health related. It's absolutely, his direction is a struggle to him because it's sat behind his back. He doesn't know where he's going with mountain beneath him. It's sat in ring, so he is really, really stuck where he is, or he feels he is. He's made a commitment somewhere that is really working against him. He's not been able to grow his career as what he would want to because he's got the sun and growth in a negative aspect to him. And he may have even struggled, woman could even come up as a colleague, for example. And he's really struggled with his relationship there because they've got bear between them. She feels he's too good to be true in the workplace, which kind of means that she feels that maybe all talk but no action, for example, because bear has that side order of envy with it. And he's thinking she's a bit full of her boots with the bear and then the woman above him. So there's kind of no love lost between the two of them. And the cross in front, confirms how much stress and how much stress she brings into the workplace. Bird is sat in ship, which shows that actually she's not bringing in the sales that she should do, which actually causes him a great deal of grief because he's the one that's actually trying to bring the financials in with the fish in front of him. Fish in tower, he's trying to bring the long-term financials in. 1 second, I just need a drink. So he's really focused on bringing the financials in, can't be asked with her because she's not bringing her load in. She's adding stress to the business rather than bringing sales in, which in turn has an effect on him and leads him to actually think about how they can make more money with fish crossroads ship. How on earth can he get out of this situation? Crossroads has fox above it and mice beneath, which shows that it's a really, really difficult decision. And there's lots of components to it that actually spin off from her superficiality with Clover at the top in her line. She maybe have made some small mistakes, couldn't be bothered to do something properly, for example, and it all kind of clusters down onto him. Sorry. I've got a very dry throat right now. So going on from that Clover, this is where we started, the anchor in tree, and actually not being able to make those long-term financials or end goal financials that he's wanting to, confirmed again by Fox and Snake, other people getting into the mix, namely her, who were stopping him from, excuse me, from making this. 1 second. So we do have, like I said, the third party. There's not enough to show third party within a relationship. However, it is showing other employees, other people, clients even, other people on the work front who are adding grief to the mix and stopping that end goal of sales happening. So when he comes down then across to making that decision and focusing on sales, is going to find that these people, or namely her, has created a situation that maybe actually could screw up a possible income with clouds, ship, snake above it. But then he moves into dog and scythe above. So for him, what's the best way forward? He has to cut out garden and dog. He needs to cut out the people. He needs to find out which ones first, because we've got Buck under there in Lily. He needs to find out who hasn't been doing the right things. And he comes across the dog, and there's no other way but to scythe garden and dog. Get rid of those to bring that success in for the company with house, with Lily above. The most important thing, Lily is our virtue. Virtue is sat over house, which is telling me that he needs to focus on what's right for the business, which is getting rid of people. And why? Because we've got letter in snake coming off her line, which has Lily beneath it. So, and whip, she's probably been insubordinate in some way, or she has been rude, or she has said things against the company, and he needs to put his focus on putting the company first. He's even got a bit of love into that company. It could be his own business, for example. And think of the long term with Tower in Star, the direction of where they're going, and create that change then afterwards. So you see how I use the clusters is having that knowledge within my head of what those cards like to hang out together and what it means when they do hang out together. But what it also means is when they are apart from one another and how that adds to my interpretation. Like this one with the cards of the sea. 1 second, I will get the cards for somebody new entering. Now, it depends whether you read directionally or not. I'll just pull the cards out. Where are you? Yeah. So if I wanted to see, I'm just trying to find the cards. Somebody new entering the Querent's life. I would like to see somebody entering. So the movement of entering, and the entering card is rider. So something coming into your life. I would then want to see around the partner card. So the partner card would be the new person attending, but around them, and they would have to face one another in the spread. But around them, I would want to see around the partner, the new partner, I'd want to see child as that new, nice person coming in. Obviously want to see heart because you want to see heart. But a newness is also projected by the Clover card. A fated, the star card in the Game of Hope instructions from 1799 speaks of star card as being the prophecy card. So if that's close to the partner card, it's a beautiful, this is meant to happen. So it's the new cards I would want to see, but I would want to see that entering. So I would want to see them looking at one another. And then around the partner card, these cards that I've mentioned. So the new bits coming in, showing a new start too. I was thinking maybe leaking company info with lettering snake and near tower. Perfect. Talking to competitors. Perfect. Exactly that. Ben, that's perfect. Dang fuck. So take your Lenormand deck. Look at the cards within there. And that is what I would tell any reader of Lenormand to do, no matter what age or what length of Lenormand reader you are. I would say sit down and show yourself what cards. I mean, it's literally an order. It's almost like ordering from the universe. Do I want to see commitment in a work read? Absolutely. Do I want to see coffin? Do I want to see mountain? Absolutely not. I want to see fish. I want to see anchor. I want to see sun. I want to see moon. I want to see key. So you're doing that for each of the thing. And you then you may have 10 cards in your hand at the end of it, but you know that they all hang together in that perfect scenario. So you know when they're missing in a spread or they're all separated out from one another. Equally, what that tells you about a querent's scenario, where they are in life. I hope that was useful. I, again, would like to invite you to come to Lenormand Summit, which is on the 24th of June, 2023. It's only a few weeks, and we've got some amazing Lenormand readers on there who'll be sharing with you all their tips and tricks. I will put my own outro on and not James, and I'll see you on the next one. I'll be setting more up. Have a lovely weekend.
Let's go.